we'll call our meeting to order and we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If anybody is here tonight to speak to the council, other than the public hearing, make sure you signed up on the sheet and the foyer there, right behind the officer that's standing there. Julie, would you like to take the roll call?
Sure. Dawn Vanny.
Here.
Deborah Nelson.
Here.
Marilyn Ertley.
Here.
Jan Schweddy.
Here.
Michelle Blythe.
Here.
Yvonne Gallardo.
Here.
Heather Logan.
Here.
Madam Mayor, I move for approval of the agenda as presented.
Second. Question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we have one of our favorite things this evening to start with, which is Chief Ventura, and we have swearing in of 3 officers this evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to hand this over to our newly appointed Lieutenant Peter Barrett for tonight.
That'd be awesome.
Good evening. Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you for having us. So this is a big deal. I know you guys have a full meeting tonight, so I won't take a tremendous amount of time, but I did want to start just by saying the officers that we're swearing in tonight are the result of a very, very long hiring process. It's very difficult in the current industry that we're in to find highly qualified, exceptional officers. It's even harder to find that in lateral police officers. But I think as a credit and a testament to the hard work that's gone in from the City Council and our city admin, the work that the chief and our HR department have done over the months, we've actually accomplished that. This is just the beginning. We have more coming. We have several new hires as well. But tonight's a big deal because we're going to have 3 lateral officers get sworn in tonight, which is it's hard to quantify the impact that that has for our city and for our staffing. So I'd like to invite Officer Schumann, Officer Althusius, and Officer Metcalf up. And I'll have you guys can go and stand here by Chief Ventura. So they are joined tonight. I'm going to read just a little bit of what I know in my short time and what they have provided me about them. Officer Jason Metcalf is joined here tonight by his wife Victoria, who will be pinning his badge. Jason's a lateral transfer to us from Seattle Police Department, where he spent over 6 years there. He is also a Marine veteran, served 4 years with a deployment to Afghanistan. Wanted to do law enforcement as an extension of his service to community and country. And he is joined here at Arlington PD by some recent Seattle laterals as well that have come. One of them will be sworn in next month, and Officer Benner, who started here before and was a big part of him coming here, because Jason told us that Arlington PD is a smaller agency where he feels like he can do community policing, unlike the opportunities that he had at Seattle. And for him, one of the things he'd really like to work on is he'd like to be a detective someday for us. So we're looking forward to that. That's always a need for us. Officer Austin Schumann, he is here tonight. He's joined by his girlfriend, Shiloh Hoke, who will be doing his badge pinning, as well as his mother, Candy, 2 children, which are Gray, who is age 5, Roan, who is 3. Austin is Lake Stevens, grew up in Lake Stevens, so he's a local guy. Graduated Lake Stevens High School, attended the Corrections Academy for Washington State Department of Corrections, where he did 2.5 years serving at the and doing the correctional facility work at Monroe Correctional Complex. He then went to Portland Police Department, where he did 2.5 years for Portland Police Bureau. Austin is back in community college and criminal justice classes, where he got an interest in law enforcement. And basically what he talked to us about was he wants to come back to Washington State. Felt like Arlington was an agency that had a really strong team and family vibe to it, and that was a really big deal for him, where he felt like he could expand his career here and do some community policing, which is, again, as you'll see, a common theme from the people that come to our agency. And then Officer Sarah Althesius. And Sarah is also a Washington local, grew up in Camino, graduated Lincoln High School in Stanwood. She actually worked here at Arlington Hardware, which is a favorite of ours. Sarah also did corrections in Florida, and she worked in Crestview Police Department in Florida as well. So she has a couple years of law enforcement experience that she brings to us. And Sarah has wanted to be a police officer since elementary school. And what she talked about was the bond between the public and the police. That's a big deal for her. And again, desire to come here and do community policing and what that looks like, have a connection with our community members. And one of the big things that she would like to accomplish in her career, if she has the opportunity, is to do canine work. So based on that, I'd like to introduce our three newest that we can now do the badge pinning.
Let's swear them in first.
Oh, sorry, swearing first. But you know we can do that.
Swear you in first?
I'm going to do these one at a time in the order that was, your introductions were made. So, Jason, I think you're first. If you wouldn't mind raising your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you are a citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States and of the state of Washington, that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that you will, to the best of your judgment, skill, and ability, truly, faithfully, diligently, and impartially perform the duties of police officer in and for the city of Arlington, Washington, as those duties are prescribed by law, so help you God? If so, please say, I do so swear.
I do so swear.
Congratulations. Austin, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you are a citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States and of the state of Washington, that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that you will, to the best of your judgment, skill, and ability, truly, faithfully, diligently, and impartially perform the duties of police officer in and for the city of Arlington, Washington, as those duties are prescribed by law, so help you God? Please say, if so, I do so swear.
I do so swear.
Congratulations. Sarah, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you are a citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States and of the state of Washington, that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that you will, to the best of your judgment, skill, and ability, truly, faithfully, diligently, and impartially perform the duties of police officer in and for the city of Arlington, Washington, as those duties are prescribed by law, so help you God? If so, please say, I do so swear.
I do so swear.
Congratulations.
Okay. And we can now have Officer Metcalf. We'll have your wife come up to do the badge pinning.
Welcome to our city. Thank you.
Really glad you came. Thank you so much for coming to us.
Officer Schumann, would you like to have your girlfriend and kids come up?
Sure. What year did you graduate?
Don't tell her, don't tell her.
No, like, I'm a Lake Stevens, and that's why I asked, but
2014.
I was in the Pink Palace. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, it's like yesterday.
That was the best badge pinning I've seen. You did it like a pro.
And Officer Althesius, if you want to have your mom come up.
Welcome and thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Lieutenant Barrett, it was great to have you present in front of the council as a lieutenant. Thank you. We look forward to having you come back and presenting us with more new officers.
And Madam Mayor, if I would, now would be a good time for a family that doesn't want to sit for the whole meeting, would be a good time to exit.
They usually have cake on that other side.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, Brett.
Good to see you, Jack.
Congratulations.
No. Oh, it always does.
Now we'll get colder. All right, great. So now we're at the public comment period for members of the public who wish to speak to the council about any matter not on our public hearing portion of the meeting this evening. And we ask you to limit your remark to 3 minutes. And I have 2 people signed up, and you can speak at the podium where the lieutenant was introducing. And the first one is Heather Ostman. Okay, and her daughter, I'm assuming.
So, good evening. My name is Heather Ostman, and Council and Mayor, thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak. I do need to put a caveat on my statements, is that I know that this has already been kind of discussed extensively and that I'm very late to the game, but I am here mostly just to file my personal protest against the plans for the North Airport warehouse development, and so kind of known as Airport Trail. I am currently a practicing family practice physician that works at the Smoky Point and Everett Clinic, and I've been here for about 5 years. And my concerns are both personal, in that I and my family have enjoyed that area for recreational purposes since we've moved to this community. But I also have to express concern that I have for the lack of green space within the Smoky Point neighborhood. So we all know that this is an area of a lot of growth, and I'm not here to speak against that, but I'm concerned that there is a lack of park areas in that neighborhood, and there's a lot of residential community moving in there, and I feel that the loss of that last 42 acres, which really is the last wild spot there, is a loss to this community, in that, you know, people, for their health, for their mental health, their well-being, for the shade as we're facing climate change and global warming, that we should be preserving that space as a natural space so that people can enjoy that with their community. And I feel there is room for that industrial park there, and also room for that to be a green space. So I have to admit, I am not educated on the process. I don't know if this is already a done deal or not, but I thought it was important that I come and say something, and I hope I am not alone in the community in feeling that that would be a big loss. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Heather. We appreciate hearing your voice.
This one belongs to me.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Despain.
Stephanie, can you move a little closer to the microphone, or maybe
Yeah.
your mom could?
So sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
I'm Stephanie Despain, and I'm going into 6th grade in the fall. And I have a statement about the cutting down the trees by the airport. When I was younger, me and my mom would go on walks with our dogs. I remember the beautiful trees and how they would shade me from the sun. I always loved the long walks and how the birds would chirp loudly, singing their beautiful songs. All the flowers were beautiful, and I want other little girls and boys to experience the same thing. That's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You did great. So our next speaker is Stephanie Despain. Oh, that was you. Okay. Oh. You did good, Stephanie. Thank you. I don't normally do this after public comment, but there has been some confusion about that green space and the tree buffer at the airport. And I'm going to ask our Community Economic Development Director to just make a statement about some of the changes we have made so you know what's really happening there. His name is Mark Hayes.
Great, thank you, Madam Mayor. So I do understand wholly the loss of that area for what you've been experienced for the time that you've lived in this area. The one thing that we have done, because we really aren't allowed to leave that as open space, simply because it is underneath Federal Aviation Administration guidelines. And so the highest and best use of the airport is one of the requirements we have. But having said that, we did know that this development would come along. Eventually, we didn't know it would happen so rapidly, but we did put into motion 200-foot deep wooded buffers. So the wooded buffer that runs along all the residential areas all the way along the west side of the airport is put in place in perpetuity. And so nothing will happen to that area. So you'll still have a bit of a wildlife corridor there, and wild trails can occur within that tree buffer area. So just to let you know that there is something that we have done proactively to address that.
May I ask a question? Is the plan to maintain the more mature trees there, or is the plan to raise the property and then put in young trees?
No, the plan is to leave the existing trees in that 200-foot buffer. And they will be supplemented also as we have other projects that occur throughout the city. There is a tree mitigation requirement with the city, and so in areas where there may be some less dense forest in there, it gives us a place in order to be able to plant and supplement that.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I saw a lot of misunderstanding in the community. They didn't know that the council had taken proactive measures to save that buffer, which is important to us too. So we're like Stephanie, we want to see other kids enjoy it. All right, thank you. So our next item is a public hearing, and the public hearing is on our 6-year consent. Oh, yeah, consent agenda. Yes.
No, okay.
I'll back up.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll get used to this one day. Okay, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the July 18 and July 25th, 2022 council meetings, and July 25th through 2022 Council and Planning Commission joint meeting. Accounts payable, approval of EFT payments and claims check 106061 through 106144 dated July 19, 2022 through August 1, 2022 for $3,179,424.18. Consent items, request for permit fee waiver, attachment B, and dedication of wetland tract associated with Project Roxy, attachment C.
Second? Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so now we'll move into our public hearing for our 6-year transportation improvement program. Jim Kelly.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and council members. RCW 36.81.121, and as described in WAC 136-15, requires Arlington to adopt annually a transportation improvement program for the ensuing 6 years. And this is what I am presenting tonight for the public hearing, is the 6-year TIP for years 2023 to 2028. In preparing this plan, we have coordinated with the Community and Economic Development Department, and we've made sure that the roads and the transportation improvements and the trails that are outlined in this not only benefit growth but benefit the community. We have talked about this at a previous workshop, and I would like to open it up to the council and to a public hearing.
Okay, so at this time, do we have any members of the public that wish to address us on the 6-year transportation improvement program? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and open it up to any questions by the council.
I have a question. Jim, the very last item on the transportation plan, the road that starts on 172nd, I think it's 182nd, goes up to 186th, where, just so everybody knows what I'm talking about, right now, if you go up to the high school, 186 is being put in around the south park, and it's all developer funded, and there's development out there. And looking at the map where that road is going up, there's a small portion that is in city limits and the rest is not. And my question, I guess, is that whole area there where the roads are going in, is that all being developed out in the county?
So the road that you're referring to is 186th, and that is a developer-funded road, but that is only going from Crown Ridge east to the city limits. It
Okay,
is
but
not.
what about the one that's coming up from 172nd? It's on the map,
That's all.
you see?
89? Yeah, but that's all in the city limits, right?
See on the map?
Yes.
So-
This one here.
It's 89th, Jim.
Yeah.
Too many.
I have much bigger.
Oh.
Good.
Because you really strain our eyes with the ones we get.
Yeah.
That is correct. That portion of 89th that is within the city limits, it is a paved road, but it does not meet city standards. The other portion of the road will be going outside city limits, and it will be, we would have to coordinate with the county for that road development.
So is there development, I mean, the county is allowing development out there, housing and everything, I guess is my question.
If the county moves forward with development along that road alignment, then we would work with them we would work with them to make sure that right-of-way is dedicated as a part of the development that gets approved by the county. But that would fall under Mark to make sure that that happens.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Does anybody else have any other questions? I know we did work this extensively at a workshop last month.
It's well done.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I move to approve the resolution adopting the City of Arlington's 2023 through 2028 6-year transportation improvement plan and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution.
Second question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the TIP passes unanimously. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and council members.
Okay, so we'll move into our new business, and our first item is a full-time employee for the development and business inspections. I think Paul's going to present that to us.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this request here, this proposal actually has two parts to it, so I'll kind of walk through both parts of it. First, the addition of a inspector in the Community Development Department. So I know it's a little odd to bring it like this. This is something we're really proposing for the 2023 budget, but we do want to get started on looking for this position sooner than later. Mark and I were going over development plans a few weeks ago, and looking at what was in the queue and what we knew was coming from, properties out there, and just come to the realization that we're not going to be able to handle the level of building permits that are going to be coming in with the staffing we have. We currently do take care of design review and permitting, and inspections two ways. We have an outside vendor, Safe Built, that we use for some of the projects, and that's a real benefit to us to have that resource to be able to reach out to them and use them on certain projects. And then other projects we do internally. But we just are seeing that those projects that we normally do internally, we don't quite have the staffing that we need to do these. So that's part of the reason for wanting to add an additional staff member to the Community Development Department to act as for inspections. The other piece of this is something we've talked about several times over the last few months, and that's been our business inspections. Those are the ones that we have a goal of doing our business inspections semi-annually, so we do half the city one year and half the city the following year. That's our goal. We have not done that in quite some time, but that's been our goal. We have a proposal, ILA with North County, that we developed during the process of the annexation into the RFA. Chief Cermak and I have been working together on that, trying to iron out some costs and stuff so that we understood what that meant for them to do the annual building inspections for us, annual business inspections. We kind of landed on a number of $90,000 a year. That's what Stanwood is paying right now. Chief Cermak thought that ours would be comparable because we do it only half every year rather than the full city. And then this discussion came up with Mark over the inspections for the development service permits. The reason why I bring this forward is, looking at it right now, this is much more cost effective for us to do it in-house. For instance, we can hire an inspector for about $135,000 a year. That's salary and benefits both. That's based on just historical data. Our proposal would be that employee would spend half of his time doing development permits, so that would come out of development permit fees at about $67,500, and then half of it would be spent doing the annual business inspections, which would be $67,500 coming out of the general fund. So the difference is the $90,000 versus the $67,000. So in reality, it's about a $22,500 savings to the general fund going this route. However, like I said, we're in a position with the development services where we need to add an employee. So we'd be asking to add that employee regardless. This is just a funding mechanism that gets us there the most cost-effective way that's possible. Attached to your packet is the revised ILA, and so I have removed the annual business inspections from the ILA. I've also made some adjustments to it that I think help it to be a little bit more of a collaborative effort between the city and North County as we move forward. We didn't completely rule this out. We're still going to use North County for some development inspections. They're doing some for us now, and they'll continue that. And if some point in the future it becomes beneficial to both parties to do the business inspections, we could certainly go that way down the road. But like I said, right now this is the most cost-effective way I can see to accomplish the work. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Paul. I'm waiting to see if anybody lights up with a question. Deborah.
So could you explain a little bit more? I'm thinking of the staff we already have there, and I know they're loaded with work, with all the growth that's happening. And so Kevin, I know, is our main person for, is it inspections? I'm sorry, my mom.
Kevin is our building official.
He's like the go-to guy.
Yeah,
I
so he
know.
does all inspections around the building portion of it that are done in-house.
So this is basically a support, a person that
There,
will help in that position, correct?
correct. We have a combined inspector, Brian, who does mostly our civil work, so he's
Right.
doing what's buried in the ground.
Okay.
That's part of the development projects. Kevin is doing the plan review and inspections
Right.
for the building portion of those projects that we're doing in-house.
And
So
a
this would be a
plan.
person to supplement his work.
Right. So I think it sounds like a very wise move, because I also know how important it is for us to retain our staff, because knowing what other cities are going through in their planning departments, those people are moving around to other jobs that, maybe different pay, different hours, whatever, different certifications. So I'm in favor of this, just to help strengthen our department. And also, I just think of the longevity, of growing, giving our employees opportunities to grow in their jobs. So I think it sounds like an excellent plan.
We would look towards, I agree with you, we would look towards, in a perfect world, get somebody that Kevin could mentor, and
Yeah.
then would be some succession planning. We know, someday Kevin will want to retire, and
That happens. So, thank you. That was,
Thank you, Deborah. Michelle?
Well, it sounds like this is a great situation for the city, and it gives us control over these two areas that are really important. So to me, I'm completely supportive of this. It just sounds like it's the best thing to do. Especially for Mark, it kind of gives him a lot of opportunities to use somebody to help out there. So I think it's a great idea.
Thanks, Michelle. Heather?
Paul, can you remind me, what is the timing of signing the edited ILA with Chief Cermak?
I have a meeting with Chief Cermak tomorrow to go over the changes. I'm a day behind. I promised to have this to you by the end of July. It's the 1st of August, so we're a day behind, but I have a meeting scheduled with him tomorrow to go over it, and then,
Okay,
yeah.
so there's no risk that we'll both be obligated to North County for their services at their price, and an employee, by the way, which I think is a wonderful idea.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm doing this together as a combined action, so that
Okay.
we're.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Heather. I don't see any other questions.
okay. So, I move to approve the changes to the attached interlocal agreement and the addition of one full-time employee, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. The next item is the purchase of right-of-way for 197th Place Northeast. Mark?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. So as presented at the workshop last week, there's a strip of land, 197th Place Northeast, that was created at one point in time through land development as the terminus of the 74th Avenue. As things turn out now, Arlington Valley land, or Arlington Valley Road has been built out to 197th. This piece of property, which is was the existing roadway, is now a major component with our 197th extension out to 67th from Arlington Valley Road. But it also serves as the primary point of ingress, egress out of the Gateway Business Park. And so it's been identified. I tried to work deals out with both the developer of Arlington Valley Land Properties and with the Gateway Business Park. Nothing seemed to work out with them in trying to credit the traffic mitigation in lieu of the dedication of right-of-way. So we're faced now with having to purchase the right-of-way for 197. And I don't know, you did have the purchase and sale agreement that was in your packet also. So
Yes.
I did want to point out that with the purchase and sale agreement, the price on it was $150,000. Originally, it was penciled out at $155,000. So there's a savings in the PSA that we received, so
So you're asking the council to approve 150,000?
I am.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jan, do you have a question?
Yeah, the traffic impact fees that were paid way back when all of this started, how close to that was what it's going to cost us now? Do we know how much that was paid?
Well, it will exceed what this price is out of our growth fund, traffic mitigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it far exceeds this.
Oh,
We're
okay.
we're several million in traffic mitigation, so.
Okay.
Let's see, any other questions?
Okay. So I move to authorize the mayor to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the purchase of the AVR Business Park LLC property for public right-of-way use.
Second?
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And we'll move to the next item, which is also yours, and I'm surprised this came so quickly, but please, is the appointment to the vacant planning commissioner position.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. So we don't get a badge to pin on people, but I would like to say that we went through a process here with Yvonne thank you. With Yvonne moving on to city council, there was a vacancy that occurred in the planning commission, and so we do have a very likely candidate here that we'd like to appoint to fill that planning commission position. And this is Gail Rober. Everyone may recognize Gail. She's been involved in our focus group meetings for the last several years, and so she's very adept and educated in where we are right now, and especially with the comprehensive plan coming up. So I would like to get approval in order to appoint Gail to planning commission.
I was happy to see that she applied, given I know her involvement in the focus group and
Yeah.
her passion for how the city plans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very complex position. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have somebody who has a little bit of knowledge coming in.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark?
All right.
I think, Chief, I would also think that if Gail gets a sticker, Stephanie should get a sticker
Yes.
too.
Yes.
We're just such an articulate
I
six-year-old
think so.
speaker.
I can hand those out right now.
If I had a city pin, I'd be pinning one on her.
That's awesome.
So I move to confirm the appointment of Gail Rober to the Planning Commission.
Second?
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Gail, on behalf of the council, we thank you for your service to the city. Think of it as a civic badge.
Oh, how cool.
This is
I want
great.
one.
Sarah, you got to get a picture of that. We are now badging our planning commissioners.
With stickers.
I was gonna let you.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for the levity. So we'll move to our next item, which is the review of the council remote access policy, which is in our packets. Let's see, Paul, you want to, and Steve Pipel put together this changes of all of the requests from the council. I thought it
Thank
was
you, Mayor. I'm gonna let Steve
good.
talk about the changes.
Yes, council members, after our last review of this, I told you I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get this done prior to the council's hiatus during the month of August, but I was able to put together what I think the council was instructing me to do as far as changes to the policy. And essentially, the changes reflect the discussion that we had at the last meeting about how the council wishes to proceed with remote attendance by council members, given the technological issues that we now face. The way this is written would allow us to make changes if the technology also changes as well, which is one thing that may be helpful to you. I'm very happy to answer any questions that you may have about the changes that I've made, or if you have any questions or concerns about the way it's written.
All right. Is there any questions from council?
I have one, but I won't find it.
Okay, Marilyn?
I liked it. I thought it seems to serve the purpose that we're looking for. Part of what I was thinking was, if the city had a calendar or something where you could work with the calendar to look at who's signed up for vacations. So some of us, if we're going on a vacation, we have options. Do you go this time, or do you go 2 weeks later, or whatever? So if we had an interactive calendar, you could go in and look and see, like maybe Heather's going on vacation in October, and I thought, well, I guess I can wait till the end of November. I would see that she already had that time booked. And so family emergencies are emergencies. You never know when that's going to happen. And when you're doing city business, maybe, and you want to zoom in, that's pretty important too. But I think especially for vacations, I don't know how everyone else feels, but I think that would be helpful to be able to see, and then you can plan ahead. And then maybe I saw that Heather had it that week, and I said, oh, it's my brother's birthday, and I really wanted to go this time. Maybe it wouldn't be a problem to move things around a little bit. I guess that's, you know, if
Does that need to be put into?
I don't
Actually, the
think
council
so.
could probably actually do that themselves with a Google Calendar.
Well, you
And I don't
could.
think it's, we need to put the work on the staff to do it, but I think if council wanted to set up a
We
Google
could do
Calendar,
that.
I'm assuming for public records, that would be fine.
Well, we could, certainly do it on an Outlook calendar, set up a shared calendar. I believe would serve the purpose. I don't know personally whether it really needs to be in the policies.
I don't think
It's
so
something
either.
we
It
can
was just
set
an
up.
additional thought to help us work things out so there aren't conflicts. And I think if staff could look at the Google Calendar too, I mean, the IT people would know, and, I don't know.
It's a good suggestion. Does
If it's not a
anybody-
big hassle, I think it would be good.
We'll look into that.
But you don't need to put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on the actual drafts to the policy?
Well done, Steve.
Well
Nope,
done.
looks good.
Yeah,
good
we
job.
appreciate you getting it back to us before our recess.
Yeah.
Do we
It's
make
your
a motion on it?
Well, there's no motion on the, I didn't know if we were making a motion tonight or what, because it doesn't state a recommended motion on it.
You can just come up with.
Should I just come up with something? Okay, I move to accept the proposed, I guess.
Amendment.
the amendments to the council reports and according to the attorney.
To the council rules and procedures.
Yeah, rules and procedures, would that be? Sorry, I didn't write anything down because I
Did you
didn't
get that,
know.
Julie? Okay. Okay, so there's a,
Does that work?
Marilyn has moved to accept the
Second.
changes.
Yeah,
And a
question.
second, okay.
And a question.
And a question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Steve, for the work on that. So our final item this evening is the resolution to accept the bipartisan infrastructure law grant from the FAA. Dave Ryan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. We discussed this at the workshop last week. I'm here to answer any final questions you may have before you vote on this matter.
Just to refresh the council, this is the infrastructure grant to the airport that we can use over a 5-year period.
That's correct, 1.475 million.
75 million, yes. I don't see anybody with any questions.
No questions? I move to approve the resolution to accept bipartisan infrastructure bill grants in the amount not to exceed $1,475,000 over the period of 5 years, and authorize the mayor to sign that resolution.
Second.
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Do we have any comments from council members this evening? Okay, Paul, do we have any administrative reports?
Not really this evening, other than this is our last meeting before our break. And so we'll come back the first workshop in September.
September 12th is the date,
That's what I was gonna ask. The
Yeah.
12th? Okay.
It seems so far.
Monday after Labor Day.
Right.
Thank you. Yes, so council will recess for the month of August and then reconvene September 12th.
Can I just mention one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Unless you're going to do it.
Oh,
I
go
just-
ahead, I'll go
okay.
after you.
Okay, I just wanted to remind, and I'm sure the council has this on your schedule for tomorrow night, National Night Out is in Legion Park, right here, 5 o'clock.
And that's
Okay, see you all then.
law enforcement. I just have one quick announcement, and when we reconvene after our recess, I hopefully will have more information on you, but the group of mayors in Snohomish County, the strong mayors, have been meeting to talk about the public safety laws that were passed that have had unintended consequences that were positive for our communities. And the mayors have formed a 501c4 organization, which is a nonprofit organization that will work specifically on legislation for trying to make amendments to those laws. So,
Yay.
yes. There's lots of moving parts on this right now.
I was
and-
gonna say, are they hiring a lobbyist?
Yes, they'll be doing some, hiring a PR firm and a lobbyist to help actually draft some of the changes.
Okay.
So more to come on that. And I believe, even though it is our final meeting before our recess, we have an executive session this evening.
That's correct, Madam Mayor. We have a need to have an executive session to discuss several matters of potential litigation. I will be asking the council to take action when you get back into regular session. And I would anticipate the time frame for that executive session to last, let's say, until 8:05 p.m. And we'll reconvene at that time, and then I'll ask you to take action when we get back into regular session.
All right, so at this time, we'll adjourn to executive session.
speaking. Come back again.
All right, we'll call our council meeting back to order. Yvonne, did you have a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I move to authorize the city attorney to take code enforcement action regarding the Arlington Motor Inn property, Cub Systems property, Back at the Ranch property, HCI Steel property, and B&M Group property, including litigation if deemed necessary.
Second.
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, Madam Mayor, I move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. See you.